The following is a free preview of the MJ Take podcast. To subscribe to the podcast, head to patreon.com/SFE, become an SFE fanatic for $4 a month, and support the SFE vision and get access to weekly The MJ Take podcasts and a weekly non-sports video, all by MJ. I hope you enjoy. I loved the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they did in the 2017 NFL Draft. They surrounded Jameis Winston with some more talent. They drafted O.J. Howard with their first pick. And I don't mind them getting another tight end because Jameis Winston is a volume thrower of the football. He was a clear selection at 19. And the Bucs didn't have huge needs. So that's why I don't mind that, just in case you were wondering. So they took O.J. Howard at 19. Love that pick. Now you have O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate as a hell of a tight end duo to go along with Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson. And now Chris Godwin, who they drafted in the third round at the wide receiver position. Jameis Winston should really pop off this year. And I was watching the Tampa Bay Bucs film from last season, or a good amount of it. And let me tell you, man, Jameis Winston is really good. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that like to box score, scout, and just look at stats, he may not appear to be great, right? Only had a passer rating of about 86 this season. Not too impressive. About 28 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. But as you watch the film, man, look, he hits players when they get open. He's accurate with the football. He makes good decisions for the most part. He can have a horrible game like he had against Arizona Cardinals week 2. But I really like Jameis Winston moving forward. The stats are deceiving with Jameis Winston. So it's time for him to pop off this year. I expect him to lead the Bucs to the playoffs. Or at least that's my expectation. We'll see if they actually do it. I won't even say I'm predicting it. I just expect that of him. I mean, this is a guy that, don't forget, people. Y'all remember how good Jameis Winston was coming out of college? Or just even coming out of high school. Y'all remember famous Jameis, that freshman year, redshirt freshman year he had? Threw 40 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Florida State was undefeated, went all the way to the national championship and won. All because of Jameis Winston. Now, they had some other good players. They had Devontae Freeman, who wasn't great in college, by the way. They had Kelvin Benjamin, Rashad Green, and some other cats. But, man, Jameis was that guy. And Florida State, the reason why they can't get back to the playoff, because they don't have Jameis Winston anymore. He's the reason. Marcus Mariota was the reason Oregon was so good. Chip Kelly left, and Mark Helfrich looked like a decent coach for 1 year. Why? Because that 1 year, he had Marcus Mariota, who led him to the national championship game. Despite the fact that not many Oregon players offensively have been able to make the NFL and make an impact in the NFL yet. Now, Royce Freeman and Darren Carrington, the second or third or whatever generation he is, they haven't come out yet, but Jameis and Marcus Mariota, they were at a different level coming out, and I can't wait to see what they do this year, man. They should be great. So I love what the Bucs did. And they also took Justin Evans in the second round, safety that I like. They took defensive tackle Stevie Tuikolo-Vatu, Stevie T, nose tackle out of USC. I love what they did. I love what the Indianapolis Colts did, man. I thought they had a better draft than my Tennessee Titans. They took Malik Hooker with pick 15. That's a ridiculous amount of value there. I mean, I had this guy ranked, I want to say 8th or 9th on my big board. Getting him at 15, ridiculous. He's going to torment Marcus Mariota for years and the rest of the AFC South. They took Quincy Wilson in the middle of the second round. I thought he was a better cover corner than Adoree Jackson, who the Titans took at 18. If the Tennessee Titans would have took Quincy Wilson at pick 18, you would not be hearing me complain. I liked Quincy Wilson, and the Colts got him in the middle of the second round. And I'll predict right now, Quincy Wilson will be a better cover corner than Adoree Jackson. I'll predict right now. Now, Quincy Wilson, He's going to be the number 2 cornerback for Vontae Davis. But then after that, after Davis leaves or gets old or retires or whatever, don't be surprised if Quincy Wilson is their number 1 cornerback for years to come. We look at defensive end Terrell Basham, who the Colts took in the 3rd round. Man, this guy could be a stud pass rusher opposite of Jabal Sheard, who they picked up in free agency from New England. And then they drafted running back Marlon Mack in the 4th. This guy's going to be their starting running back by midseason. So now the Colts have a running back. I love what the Colts did, man. And those are my big winners. Actually, there's one more winner that I really like that I want to talk about, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, there is some bust potential with this draft, but I really liked it, man. They took John Ross, wide receiver out of Washington, with the 9th pick. Some people think it's a reach. I think it's a bit of a reach, but think about the way their offense is forming right now. Look at Andy Dalton and the great season he had in 2015. Why did he have that great season? He was surrounded by weapons at the time. Now, they're reassembling that offense, but with even better weapons now. You're talking about Andy Dalton having A.J. Green and John Ross and Tyler Boyd and Cody Core as his wide receiver core. All those guys being young, some of them really young, because Boyd and Core were drafted last year, Ross drafted this year. A.J. Green's still a decent age. Moving forward, that's your wide receiving core for the next 4 years. There's no reason to do anything for the next probably 3 years. 4 years is a stretch. 3 years, that's your wide receiving core. Tight end position, you have Tyler Eifert, you have C.J. Uzomah. Hey, man, you're good to go. Tyler Boyd in the slot, maybe outside a little bit. You know, him and Ross interchanging slot outside. That's a decent weaponry for Andy Dalton. Now, the offensive line right now has issues. Cedric Abuhi and Jake Fisher have not been great offensive tackles. They need to improve now and fast. But I like the potential for this Bengals offense, man. I really do. Then they take running back Joe Mixon in the 2nd round. And believe what you may about Joe Mixon, this guy's talented. And he's going to make an impact in Cincinnati. Talking about having Joe Mixon, Jeremy Hill, and Giovanni Bernard. Talking about having A.J. Green, John Ross, Tyler Boyd, and Tyler Eifert. Andy Dalton, you better throw for 35 touchdowns this year, boy. That's a hell of a wide receiving group, tight end group, running back group. Now his offensive line stinks. Damn it, it stinks. But the defense will still be good. All right, it's coached by Marvin Lewis. It's going to be good. Forget about it. And by the way, they drafted 2 defensive end. One of them probably going to be a stud in Jordan Willis or Carl Lawson. One of them should hit. One of them should. I love what the Bengals did, man. So those are my 3 huge winners from the 2017 NFL Draft and my 2 huge losers.